This is Norseman, thriving town. You could fire a cannon in the main street. It is Sunday. The only thing that would come to grief would be a tin camel. Enough to give you the hump, really. Good morning, Gail.
Good morning, Robert. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
That's good. Did you enjoy our stay at Fraser Station?
It was interesting, Fraser Station. They advertised themselves remarkably well, and I don't think they quite live up to it. However,
I don't think it's quite the oasis in the desert that you would imagine.
no. And so far as the international standard tiled bathroom went, the only thing international about it was that the tiles were looked good in a Greek fish and chip show.
Where were we going? We're on the Nullarbor.
Yes, indeed.
Started our trip on the Nullarbor. Are you enjoying that?
Well, it's not very Nullarbor yet, is it? There's plenty of trees for the time being. I guess at some point today they must run out. But at present we're in the Great Western Woodlands, and it's beautiful.
It's very pretty.
It's very pretty.
So where are we off to today?
We're heading in the general direction of Eucla and Cockle-Biddy. They're a long way off just yet. Whether we make it that far or not really depends on the available time. Tent was very wet this morning because of condensation and not rainfall, and so it took a long while to get going.
It's -1 overnight. It's not good for the tent. Well, let's have a good day.
Indeed.
And there I am, failing to distinguish between the Eyre Highway and the Nullarbor Plain. Eyre Highway stretches from Norseman to Port Augusta, a distance of about 1,660 kilometres. The Nullarbor Plain, though, is that pale patch that you can see from outer space. I'll make it easier with a bit of hashing. The road hugs the southern boundary and reduces the exposure to anything that would remind you of a lunar landscape. At any instant, the scenery is quite splendid, but it doesn't vary very quickly at all. It's just an endless flat landscape. Then, with very little warning, you're heading downhill through the Madura Pass. From there, it's flat again until you get to Eucla, when you can climb back up. The highway is named after Edward John Eyre, the first European colonist to make the crossing. He was just 25 years of age when he set off from Adelaide in June 1840. The lack of surface water made progress very slow. It took 8 months for the party that he was leading to reach the head of the bight. In February 1841, Eyre sent the majority of his party back. He pressed on with John Baxter, who had often travelled with him before, and 3 Aboriginals. It was to be do or die. They found good water at Eucla. The Aboriginal contingent had consented to the doing, but probably hadn't been consulted terribly closely about the dying part of the contract. On the night of the 29th of April, somewhere in the stretch that we're traversing at the moment, Eyre was taking his watch over the horses when he heard a gunshot. By the time he made it back to camp, Baxter was dying from a gunshot to the chest, and the 2 South Australian Aborigines had decamped with all the serviceable firearms and most of the provisions. The remaining Aboriginal, a guy named Wiley from Western Australia, stayed with Eyre, and they continued the journey to its successful conclusion in Albany. Just imagine how Eyre and his party would have enjoyed weather like this. At Euclid you can do a bit of whale watching or visit the old telegraph station, and it's not far from there to the Bunda Cliffs where you might see a real whale. We camped 3 nights on the Nullarbor. Campsites were pleasant and easy to find. The Flinders Ranges are just creeping above the horizon. Soon we'll be at Port Augusta. Thank you for watching.